Welcome back to the Dragon's Lair, everyone. This is my show, Let's Talk, where I talk about all things 40k. We're in 10th edition. We've been in 10th edition for quite some while now, and we are talking about Tyranids. I love Tyranids. I've been a Tyranid player for like 20 years now. I've seen a lot of things come and go. And 9th edition, definitely, we were strong at the end of 9th edition. But here we are in 10th, so we gotta roll with the punches and play with how the game changes over time. So today we're talking about Zoanthropes. I love Zoanthropes. 9th edition, with the way that Warp Blast worked, it was really good. We definitely took a hit in 10th edition, but it's not bad. It's still pretty good. And once again, I am doing all of these videos from the perspective of Invasion Fleet as the detachment. I do think that there are other detachments that are good and fun. A lot of people talk about Synaptic Nexus, and obviously Crusher Stampede is not what it used to be, and I think Endless Swarm and Vanguard are very cool. So, let's get into the Zoanthrope. There's lots to talk about here. Movement 5. I struggle with Movement 5. Movement 5 is tough because, keep in mind, Zoanthropes fly, but the way that they changed flight, you have to measure the diagonal. So it's not just horizontal over and then you can be on top of a building. You have to now move the diagonal distance. And that does change things, especially when your movement is as low as 5. So that's tough. There's lots of cool things that it does, like if you're already in a building, and keep in mind that they're infantry, so they can go through walls and into buildings and stuff. If you're already in a building, then you're basically able to move up one level. So it's useful. Flying is not bad as well, so keep that in mind. Tough 5 is not great, but it doesn't really matter because basically with a Zoanthrope, because you see where the save is a 5+, almost everything with a Zoanthrope is going to trigger its 4+ invulnerable save. So toughness is kind of irrelevant for a Zoanthrope. You know, obviously, strength 10 weapons are double toughing it, and that makes it a lot easier to wound it, but most things are going to go down to the invulnerable save. Wound 3 is not bad. They're a little tough to move, especially if you're rocking that 6-man. Leadership 7, the 7 is pretty standard, but it's made even better by the fact that Zoanthropes are a synapse creature. So if you look down in the keyword section down here, if it says synapse in the keyword section, that means it gives synapse. And synapse is a 6-inch bubble. Keep that in mind. So you're gonna have a very easy time hitting your leadership test with Zoanthropes. Zoanthropes, you either take them in 3-man or 6-man. So when it comes to objective control, your objective control could be a 6, which is not terrible. But, there's something that you can put on an objective to aid the thing that's already there. Potentially, get them in to tip the balance. They have melee weapons, okay? I never model mine with the claws because they're these little tiny bitty claws. I never put the claws on as a joke to myself, but, the melee weapons are not great. 2 attacks, weapon skill 5, strength 3, no AP. You might stab somebody in the eye. You might get a wound. You might put 1 wound in, maybe, on a fluke. Statistically, numbers math. Zoanthropes are all about the ranged attack, though. So they have psychic weapons. So you see, it is really 1 weapon with 2 different profiles because they shoot mind bullets. So Warp Blast, the blast, it's psychic. Keep that in mind. Keywords are important. So keep in mind you're getting an extra attack for every 5 guys in the unit. So if you have a 10-man of guardsmen, you're getting a D3 plus 2 attacks per model. So, scenario, 6 Zoanthropes shoot at 10 guardsmen. You're you're talking 6d3 plus 12. It's a lot of attacks. And, you know, statistically, you're with BS3, you're going to get a lot of hits. And then Strength 7 is pretty good. That's going to double tough Guardsman. AP2 is good, better, best, so it's better. AP1 is good in 10th edition. AP2 is better. AP3 or higher is best. And D3 wounds. Okay, so then another layer goes on top of this. I do Invasion Fleet, and I almost always go Swarming Instincts. So Swarming Instincts is going to give you sustained hits 1. So, you know, you're rolling 6d3 plus 12. You're going to get 6s in there, and those 6s are going to then give you extra hits. It's a very effective weapon. You will put lots of hurt on who you shoot with it. So keep that in mind. It might not look or sound that good. It is good. You're gonna melt Guardsmen. You're gonna melt Space Marines. You're gonna melt Fire Warriors and Aspect Warriors and all sorts of stuff. You're gonna melt them. It's good. It's good. If you choose to do the focused Witchfire, it has lethal hits. So keep in mind, if you roll a 6 to hit, you automatically wound. You don't have to roll to wound. So, but the attack profile is only 1. So in my scenario, you'd get 6 shots. BS3, it's the same down the board. It's Strength 12. So Zoanthropes is one of our only anti-vehicle options out there. And it's kind of a crapshoot because Strength 12 is wounding, depending on what it is, the bigger vehicles, either on a 4 or on a 5, even with Strength 12. It just depends on what it is. Pretty rarely it's wounding on a 3. So 4 is about the best that you can get. It is AP3, which is really good, and it is D6 plus 1, which is pretty good. But just keep that in mind. The Spirit Leech Aura, I've never had it actually work. So while an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this unit, if that unit contains a Neurothrope, each time that enemy unit fails a Battle Shock test, it suffers D3 mortal wounds, and one model in this unit regains up to D3 lost wounds. It's highly, like, if you've got Zoanthropes within 6 inches of something else, and you're talking about melee combat, you got problems. So it's not super useful in my opinion. So I do want to say one thing about the Neurothrope. In 10th edition, they changed the Neurothrope's role. So a Neurothrope used to be an individual model, and it could be an HQ choice. Now the Neurothrope is just a sergeant for the squad. So you see down there in unit composition, it says 1 Neurothrope and 2 to 5 Zoanthropes. So the unit is made up of a Neurothrope and 2 Zoanthropes, or, you know, a Neurothrope and 5, because it's now the sergeant for the squad. So think about that. I loved Neurothropes back when they were their own unit, and I love them now. Just, it's different. It's different. One of the coolest things is the Warp Field Aura. So while a friendly Tyranid unit is within 6 inches of this unit, models in that unit have a 6+ invulnerable save. It's cool. 20-man gaunts with a 6+ invulnerable save. Like, you're going to get gaunts that live that shouldn't live. You can use this bubble to tag in all sorts of things. So it is pretty useful. Sadly, there really isn't, in my opinion, a great stratagem to use on Zoanthropes. Adrenal Surge only works in the fight phase. Rapid Regeneration might be something that you could use. Keep in mind, if you're smart about when you use it, you get one for free from your Tyrant, because you get a free battle tactic stratagem. So Rapid Regeneration will give you a Feel No Pain, which might help some of them stay alive. Death Frenzy really isn't that good. Predatory Imperative isn't that good, because Warp Blast already has lethal hits. So I think Rapid Regeneration is about the best that you could hope for as far as Invasion Fleet stratagems. I love them. I think they're a great unit. I take 2 6-mans. It might be too much, but I like the anti-tank. So overall, I really enjoy sharing this with you guys. Check out the other videos in the series. It's all in the playlist. Check it out. We here at the Dragon's Lair understand that you can spend your time anywhere on the internet, so I want to say thank you for spending your time here with us at the Dragon's Lair.